Hey, it's James here, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the ledger. The ledger is where I record my trades in real time for the group. And as we've mentioned in the past, of course, we're not telling you to copy these trades. I'm just simply sharing these for educational purposes. If you choose to copy them, that's certainly okay. We won't be angry about that, but you should always enlist the help of a professional investment advisor before making any type of investment. So with that being said, I'm going to walk you through the ledger and I'm going to walk through each column and explain what they mean. So obviously, first couple of columns are going to be pretty self-explanatory. We have the buy date and the sell date. In fact, let's go ahead and click over to the trades tab. So we have the buy and sell date, and obviously the buy date's the date that I bought the coin. Sell date is the date that I sold the coin. If I haven't sold it yet, that box will be blank. The status of the trade is whether or not the trade is still open or closed. An open trade means I have not yet sold that coin, and a closed trade means that I've already sold that coin. In the P&L column, we're either going to have green. Green means that the coin turned a profit over Bitcoin. Red will mean that it turned a loss over Bitcoin. Coin type is just going to be the name of the coin that I'm trading. The sold column, sometimes I'll sell all of my coins. Sometimes I like to sell just a portion of my coins and then put the other coins in what I call a hold bag. And a hold bag is basically just where I accumulate small amounts of coins through trading. Instead of taking the profit in US dollars, I'll take the profit in coins and I'll set those aside, and then they either appreciate in value or depreciate. So far in this bullish market, most of those have actually appreciated, which has been nice. The buy price, this is the buy price in Bitcoin. This is going to be one of the most confusing parts for new traders in cryptocurrency, because we're all used to thinking in fiat, whether that's British pounds, whether that's US dollars, whether that's Canadian dollars or Australian dollars or euros, whatever it is. Your natural currency is what you tend to think in. And so when you first start trading in Bitcoin and looking at all of these zeros, it gets to be a real headache. But within a couple of weeks, you'll get accustomed to that, and it becomes like second nature. So Bitcoin is broken down to 8 decimal places. So when you're talking about buying something with Bitcoin, they quote the price in what's called Satoshis, which is a throwback to the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. So with that being said, for example, this coin here called Verge, I bought it for 1,196 Satoshis each, and my sell price was 1,300 Satoshis each. Okay. So that's what those numbers mean. The buy price is what I bought it for. As soon as I buy a coin, I'll list it in the ledger. And then obviously I won't be able to list the sell price until it's actually sold. So this will be blank, like it is here in pink. And Bitcoin percentage, this is the percentage that it beat Bitcoin by. Okay. And the way we find that number is very, very simple. It's whatever I sold it for in Satoshis divided by what I paid in Satoshis. And so, for example, if on a 8.7% gain, if I used 1 Bitcoin to buy it, if I spent 1 Bitcoin worth, then when I sold it, I would have got 1.87 Bitcoin back. Or excuse me, 1.087 Bitcoin back. All right, 8.7%. The sell target, now I put this target in there as soon as I buy the coin. And the target is what I set my sell order at. It doesn't mean that that's what it's sold for. It doesn't mean that's what it's going to sell for. That's what I hope to sell it for. And a lot of times that's what I will sell it for. So you can see here 74, 74, 1300, 1300, etc. Sometimes, however, a coin will start to do something that makes me nervous, or I simply lose faith in the coin and I decide to exit the trade early. So down here you'll see an example of that on the start coin. I intended on selling it for 1,100 Satoshis. I actually sold it for 600 Satoshis instead. It was a very small gain in Bitcoin, but if we move over to the right-hand side, and we're skipping around a bit, but this makes sense, 1.35% on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin had went up so much during that time period that it was actually a 62% gain in US dollars. So if I put $1,000 in, I would have got $1,620 back. All right. So moving on, the next column we have here is Bitcoin value at the time of purchase. That's simply however much Bitcoin is worth at the time that we bought that coin, because we're buying with Bitcoin, so that matters. And Bitcoin value at the time of sale, so however much Bitcoin is selling for at the time of sale. Now, the reason those numbers are important is because that's how we figure out the US dollar value of that coin. So for example, by taking the value of Bitcoin divided by the number of Satoshis, we're able to figure out that that coin costs 15.98 cents to buy. And by taking the value of Bitcoin at the time of sale divided by the number of Satoshis we sold it for, we're able to figure out that we sold that coin, or I sold that coin, for right at 19 cents US dollars. Okay? And that's how we come up with the US dollar value, is by taking the amount we sold it for divided by the amount we bought it for, and that gives us our ROI of, in this case, 19.16%. And finally, in the last column is just notes. Most of these trades are what I call swing trades. I didn't come up with that term. That's just a trading term. It typically means a trade where you enter it with the intention of selling it within a few days or a few weeks. Every once in a while, there'll be something going on in the market where I feel like I see an opportunity, but I'm going more off of gut instinct or intuition than I am actual technical analysis. And I like to notate that in the chart so other people can see that as well. So for example, on this one, I literally said day trade, time sensitive, bit of a gamble. Okay. And it paid off. 19.16%, for every $1,000 put in that trade, it returned $1,190. And that trade, by the way, was only open for a couple of days, 2 days, right? So 19% in 2 days. Down here, same thing. I'm gambling. This one, it sold early. I went to the gym and a stop loss kicked in. We'll talk about stop losses in videos, so don't worry about it if you don't know what that is. This one, I had one of the folks in the group was actually telling me about it, so I had it open, and it was called Qtum. At the same time, I was looking at one that was called QRL. They were very, very similar. The prices were similar. This one was 9,800 Satoshis. This one was 98,000. So I accidentally bought Qtum. I was looking at buying it anyway, but I wanted to let folks know, hey, look, this was an accident. So, take that into consideration when you're making your own decisions. But those are just examples of some notes. Overall, the trade sheet, it becomes very easy to read after time, but at first it's going to be a little confusing. And then once in a while, I'll go through here and I'll update. If we have a coin that's been sitting in the sheet for a long time, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, etc., I'll go in here and I'll update it with the current value, so that way people can see, whether it's a gain or a loss. A lot of folks in the group like to watch this for indications of trades that they might want to enter, but they don't always keep the same sell targets. I have a certain budget. Other people have other budgets. Sometimes their budget's larger than mine. Sometimes their budget's smaller than mine. So for example, if they have a smaller budget, they may be okay taking a 5 or 10% gain and getting in and out within a day, whereas maybe I'm okay waiting a month because I'm going for a 20% or 30% gain, etc. But overall, that is how you read the sheet. There's a couple different tabs down here. Obviously, we have the disclaimer tab. The trades tab is the main tab that people like to watch. Arbitrage tab is something we just kind of toying around with. I added it a few weeks ago. I don't know if I'll continue it or not, because these trades, they're so time sensitive that entering the same trade even 30 seconds after me could be a totally different result. So some folks in the group mentioned that they liked watching those to kind of get an idea of how successful those could be. And these were very, very successful. Did about 150 of these in 3 days. And earned quite a bit. I think I did around $3,000 or $4,000 that week just on those arbitrage trades. And then finally, the day trade tab. I have not been doing a lot of day trading here recently. Just simply been too busy with the business side of things. But I will be getting back to that and doing a little bit more day trading. And the difference in a day trade and a swing trade, just a time thing, right? A day trade may be a trade that I enter at 5 a.m. and I'm looking to get out at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. Whereas a swing trade, again, I might be holding that coin for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. So overall, that is how the ledger is lined out. It takes a little getting used to, and it takes a while to shift your brain into thinking in Satoshi value instead of US dollar value. But remember, even if you're not a fan of Bitcoin, even if you're not planning on holding Bitcoin long term, you're going to have to trade in Bitcoin, and then after you sell the coin, you then sell the Bitcoin for US dollars or whatever your natural fiat is, depending on which platform you're trading on and things like that. So the trades themselves happen in Bitcoin. All right, they're called Bitcoin pairs. If you have any questions about the ledger, be sure and let us know. You can comment right in this thread. Also, check below this video. There's going to be a link. You'll be able to get a spreadsheet just like this, so you can keep track of your own trades and keep them nice and organized, so that way you have that come tax time.